let's just talk about healthy eating. It's very tricky and people hate the word diet and all those sorts of things, but there's certain types of food and volumes of food that we should be eating in a day. So if my simple way of doing it is thinking about your hand. So your palm of your hand is a certain size. So let's draw a hand here. So this is my hand here. So what we want to do is think about how big our palm is of our hand. So that is the size of my palm. So if you have a look at your palm, you can see what size that is. So that is effectively a serving size. Okay, so in a day, what servings of what should we have? So let's start with the really healthy stuff. You should have 3 to 4 servings of your coloured vegetables. So if you think anything that's brightly coloured, the only thing that's good for you that's not brightly coloured is cauliflower. So think about things like tomatoes, spinach. We all love spinach, don't we? And a handful of spinach. And if we have a carrot out here, funny looking carrot, okay, and maybe a wedge of pumpkin. So pumpkin's nice and orange. All right, we'll do some pumpkin seeds on there. So those sort of coloured vegetables, you need to eat 3 or 4 in a day. All right. The other thing that is our mainstay often and is a really easy snack is the grains, cereals and starchy things. So normally you should have 6 to 8 of those in a day. So if we think about that sort of stuff, this is where your bread comes in. So this is a slice of bread. It's probably about a handful. So you've just had 2 bits of toast for breakfast, all right? Then there are your other starches. So rice is one of them. We'll write that down. It's hard to draw rice. Pasta's really good. So if we talk about cereal, so you had a bowl full of cereal for breakfast as well. Cereal, a serving size, is actually half a cup. So it's not an enormous amount. So, but if you think about your handful again, half a cup is about right. For rice and pasta, a serving size is 1/3 of a cup. So that's actually quite small. I think partly because they're quite starchy foods. The other things are potatoes come into here, so a small potato. Kumara comes into here, and it's only half a kumara because you can tell that slightly starchy stuff that you're eating as well. If you have a bread roll, so you had a bread roll for lunch and you filled it up with some of your vegetables, a bread roll is actually 2 servings because you think there is a top and a bottom, and if you put that into your serving size, the top's 1 and the bottom's another. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you could have something else in your day. So that's your grains, cereals and starchy things. The other thing that is another food group we talk about is your fruit. So, and that once again is 3 to 4 in a day. So if you look at a banana, your normal size banana is actually quite big. So you want quite a small banana when you think about serving size, so perhaps half of one of those big bananas. Apples are good. You can probably eat a decent sized apple, no problem at all. If you think about strawberries, they're quite seasonal at the moment, but if you have strawberries, you can have quite a few of those, probably 5 to 7, and that's fine. If you're looking at dried fruit, so if we talk about things like raisins, dried fruit is still a whole fruit, so you actually need a small box of raisins is okay, and probably counts as 1.5. When they talk about dried fruit, they talk about a tablespoon of raisins. So you need to be careful about the dried fruit because they can trick you into thinking I'm not eating much, but actually you're just eating a whole fruit without the fluid in it. Another really important part of our diet is protein. So we should have 2 servings of protein in a day, 2 palm-sized pieces. So if you think about your steak, a steak the size of your palm, not your whole hand, which a lot of people will sit there and have a whole steak that size. You want a palm-sized piece. If you're having a breast of chicken, you probably find that the breast of chicken is the size of your whole hand, and you need to think about how much that is. So that is your 2 servings, but that means you're not having any other protein during the day, and protein's really good. So protein lasts longer in your system. So if you have some protein with every meal, it will take you longer to get hungry. So fish is really good. So you can have fish in a sandwich at lunchtime, or fish and pasta or something like that. It's a really good way of adding some protein into your diet. Protein sustains you for longer. So if you have a protein, even a small amount with each of your meals, it will help you to stay satisfied for longer, so that you're not so hungry. Egg is also protein, so just remember eggs as well are part of the protein group. And then the last thing that we talk about is the dairy stuff. So if you have 2 servings of dairy in a day, so if you think about a glass of milk, you might have milk with your cereal in the morning, but that's a glassful, and then maybe a yogurt or something like that during the day as a snack. So when you look at this, there's quite a lot of food here that you can have during the day. What I find is lots of people are really short on the vegetables, so you need to keep up with your vegetables that are your non-starchy stuff and try and add those into the day. There's a lot of people who are really high on the starchy carbohydrate thing, so trying to limit the amount of bread, thinking about your potatoes at night time, all those sorts of things, just try and reduce the volume in those. And then adding a little bit of protein into every meal is a really important part. So just remember that your protein is important. So there's vegetables, there's your starchy things, which is your carbohydrate, there's your fruit that you need to think about, your protein that you should remember, and then some dairy stuff as well. There is, if you needed a snack, then nuts are quite good, and it's still fine to have, combined with all of this, maybe a handful of nuts in a day. So if we just add in 1 handful of your whatever nuts, whatever they might happen to be. So almonds are good, walnuts, if you look at those, are quite good as well. So just think about the nut side of things also.